The hardest part of building a business isn't actually the work. It's watching the people that you thought would ride with you slowly disappear and realizing that no matter how hard you try, some people are just never going to fucking get you. And the thing about that is they don't even want to. So why are we exhausting ourselves trying? Today I want to take the lonely side out of winning and why your circle gets smaller as you grow and how to stop performing for the people who were never your audience anyway. This one's pretty raw. This podcast is being recorded on Gubby Gubby land. We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this land, our country, and elders past and present. I am Cait Muir and I'm back for another ep of Tell Me About It podcast. And today's episode is basically going to be about the lonely side of success and why your circle gets so much smaller as you grow. And honestly, this one's been sitting on my chest for a while now, as it's something that I'm seeing a lot of my clients experience and a lot of them go through. And so we're going to get pretty real today about the stuff that nobody really tells you when you decide to start a business. Not the hustle porn, not the manifest your millions bullshit, just the actual raw, sometimes absolutely gut-wrenching reality of what happens to your relationships, your friendships, and also your sense of self when you decide to build something bigger than what yourself is. And I want to lean into the conversations about the friends who fade away, the family members who don't get it, the people you thought would be in your corner who are nowhere to be seen. And look, we're also going to flip the script on this a little bit and talk about what it actually looks like to support someone in business as well, because I think a lot of people genuinely don't know how much the small stuff actually matters. So if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, somebody thinking about starting something, this one is for you. And if you're someone who has a friend or a family member building a business and you've ever wondered how to show up for them, stay tuned because I've got some really practical stuff for you too. Let's crack in. I guess I want to start this with like the truth that nobody tells you about building something seriously meaningful. And I want to rip the Band-Aid off straight away and kind of highlight that I don't believe that the hardest part of building a business is the work that you do. And I know that sounds super counterintuitive and you're probably thinking, Cait, have you seen my fucking to-do list? It's like as long as my fucking arm and I never, ever get through it. But I know you guys wear the weight of 17 different hats in a day. And I know you've experienced the absolute chaos of trying to be the CEO, the marketing manager, the customer service rep, the accountant, and the person who remembers to eat lunch, probably while simultaneously having a wee. It's just, I have to, and I'm telling you, I don't think that's the hardest part. The hardest part for me, definitely, especially I would say because I did it through my early 20s, is watching the people that you thought would ride with you slowly just fade away out of your life. And sometimes it wasn't even slowly. Sometimes it was a very rough, wild ending. It's realizing that some of the people you expected to be your biggest cheerleaders are actually sitting in the stands with their arms crossed or leaving the stadium entirely. They're not even there for anything. And that shit fucking hurts. It really, really hurts. And we don't talk about this enough. When you start a business, unless you sign up for a coaching with me like straight away, nobody sits you down and says, hey, just so you know, this is going to fundamentally change some of your relationships. People aren't going to come with you on this journey. Some of the friendships that felt rock solid are going to crumble. And it's not necessarily because other people are bad people. It's because you are becoming someone new and you're stepping into this whole new thing that you are. Business consumes a lot of your time. Business takes every ounce of energy. And that's extremely polarizing for a lot of people. And so they'll remove themselves. Nobody kind of speaks about how fucking lonely business is. And I speak about this a lot when I'm consulting with new clients to bring them on board into our coaching circle. I talk about how incredible it is to have a beautiful community of like-minded business owners doing the same things, working through the same things, talking about the same things. And it's incredible how much that changes people because business ownership is lonely, and industry to industry, they're all completely different as well. So if you've got someone who has a restaurant or a motor mechanics or a clothing store, that's going to be something completely different to being in consulting or being a lawyer or being in the hair and beauty industry. They're all totally different. Yes, they can be same, and there are a lot of similarities, but they can also be really different. And you can even create separation or have separation. You don't really create that from people who are in business who also don't get the type of work that you do. And there's different levels of commitment to business too. Some people are entrepreneurial. They're married to their job. Hi, me. I'm talking about myself. And there are also people who just want to go to work, do the bare minimum, and they'll just coast along. And that's also okay too. There's different levels of success and there's different levels of being in business. But here's the thing, and I want to talk about this because when you decide to build something that you are destined to do and it fills your cup and it feeds your soul and you're so excited and it's the dream, you are literally signing up to do the work that 99% of people spend their lives avoiding. You are saying yes to uncertainty, to risk, to being uncomfortable on a daily basis, to constantly putting out fires, to pivoting, to adapting, to being married to what is your job. And you're choosing to bet on yourself when the odds are so far from guaranteed. So many businesses don't succeed, and that's the reality that we face when we go into this. We're putting everything on the line. It's a fundamentally different operating system than most people are running. School didn't build us for that. School-bred employees. A lot of our families didn't build us for that. They wanted to shelter us, or they didn't go into this world, and that's fine. And I don't say that to be arrogant or to put entrepreneurs on the same kind of pedestal. I say it because that is real. That is the reality. When you're wired to build, when you're wired to create, when you're wired to chase a vision that only you can see clearly, and some people just think you're fucking crazy, you're often speaking a completely different language than people who are content with the status quo. And when you're speaking different languages, communication gets really fucking hard too. Because how do you tell this to somebody who just doesn't get it and who just doesn't want it and who never ever foresees themselves having a life like this? You can't explain that shit. So what's going to happen naturally when you move into this life and you start to build something meaningful and you start to do more things outside of employment and outside of what the 92% of people do? You start to outgrow people, not out of arrogance, not because you think you're better than anyone, because survival in this world demands evolution, because the person you need to become to build something successful literally cannot stay the same person you are when you started. It's evolution, and it creates distance. It really, really does. And I'll tell you something that I've kind of learned the hard way too. You actually can't explain vision to someone who's never been hungry enough to chase one. Listen to that again if you need to. Some people have never felt that fire in their belly, and some of them never will. Some people will never feel that thing that wakes you up at 5 a.m. with an idea that you can't shake. My husband literally gets up and leaves the bedroom sometimes because I'll be writing down a whole heap of ideas in my phone and the light's waking him up. And he is hungry, but he's a different level of hungry to me. Some people will never feel that drive that makes you willing to sacrifice comfort for possibility, that hunger that makes you look at a blank page and see opportunity instead of fucking overwhelm. We're all crazy entrepreneurial people. We're insane. We spot opportunity and we gun for it, right? We don't see it as a problem, maybe a little hurdle, maybe something that needs a little bit more push. We see it as leverage. And because a lot of people have never felt that, they can't understand it. They just don't get it. This isn't their fault. It's not a character flaw. It's just a different way of moving through the world. Some people are just employees at their core, and that's okay. We need them. I wouldn't fucking survive without having employees in my life, without having them in my business. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just wanting to be an employee, and I shouldn't even just say just wanting to be. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be employed and to work for somebody else. The world needs employees. But if you're an entrepreneur trying to explain your journey to someone who's never felt the pull to build something from nothing, it's like trying to describe color to someone who's only ever seen it in black and white. And they might nod along, they might say supportive things, but there's a disconnect that you can feel even if you can't quite name it. And here's why it gets tricky. And some people just aren't neutral. Some people are actively unsupportive. Maybe they're jealous, likely. Maybe they're scared for you. Maybe your decision to chase something bigger makes them uncomfortable about their own choices, polarizes them, and it kind of holds a mirror up to what they're doing. Maybe they genuinely think they're protecting you by trying to talk you out of it. I think also some of those people aren't extremely obvious. I actually think sometimes they're the people that seem like they're supportive when they're not. So whatever the reason that there's an unsupportive person in your life, you're going to start to notice patterns. The friend who always changes the subject when you talk about work. The family member who makes little narky comments about how you're always busy, or that tone that suggests it's criticism, it's not an observation. Just the negative commenting in general and the shooting you down. The mate who's never once liked a post, shared your content, or bought anything from you, but who's always got an opinion on what you should be doing differently. And I saw a post on this the other day and it actually really changed my life. It was a reel of a woman talking, and it said, if your friends are seeing your content and seeing what you put out there and they're not throwing you a like or a comment, they're a fucking hater. And I thought, what a fucking powerful thing to think, because that is so true. If I see anyone's anything, I just chuck them a like. I just chuck them a comment, a heart, something. I share it. I reshare it. It's because I support people. I love people in business. I think they're fucking awesome. So slowly, quietly, I nearly blended my words into say slightly, slowly and quietly, either you'll start to pull back from those people or they do, or you both just drift apart. And I want to be really clear here too, because this is actually really normal and it's part of the journey. And while it sometimes hurts like hell, it's also making room for something else or someone else or something new to happen. And what I found to be true is as your circle gets smaller and tighter and closer, it gets so much stronger. And the people who stay or the people who join, which is also really exciting, the ones who genuinely get it, who show up, who celebrate your wins and hold space for your loss, those relationships are fucking concrete. They are unbreakable. They are forged in something real. So if you're going through this right now, if you're watching friendships fade, feeling that strange grief of losing people who are still technically alive, well, and breathing and doing their thing, I just want you to know that you're not alone, and anybody who's ever made something of their life has been through this as well, myself included. This is the price of admission for success. This is the price of admission for being an entrepreneur and a business person. And on the other side of it, I promise you, as a tribe of people who fucking see you, they see you loud and clear. And I want to make that very, very clear. I bought my first business when I was 19 years old. Now you can imagine 19 years old, most of my friends had just finished school. I'd been working full time for 5 years. And people just didn't get it. They're going to uni, they're going out getting pissed multiple times a week. I did that too, but not quite on the scale that they did. They're going to uni 15 hours a week, working 15 hours a week, usually still living at home. I was living out of home. I owned a house by then. I was running my own business. You can imagine how polarizing that was for a lot of other people my age. And there were some that stuck through it. And you know what? Some of the most loyal ones aren't even business owners. But there was also a whole lot of people that dropped off and faded away and excluded me because they just couldn't work me out or see why I did what I did. There's a lot of them that have tried come crawling back many years later, which I also haven't let into. But you know, it happens to the best of us, and it doesn't matter what age that happens to you. It doesn't matter what age you start your business or go through that experience. It just happens, and you just have to remember you are, by being your shiny, successful, incredible self, holding a mirror up in the faces of the people who never have the guts and the glory to do what you fucking do. Just remember that. I also want you to stop trying to make everybody understand you. They won't, and that's fine. And you're flogging a dead fucking horse. And look, I need to park this one for a minute because I think it's something that so many of us get wrong for way too long. We spent so much energy, I'm talking years of our lives, trying to make people understand us, trying to explain why we work the hours we do, trying to justify why we're always on, why we never switch off, trying to translate our vision into some sort of like broken down, dumbed down language for someone who's never felt the same way that we magically feel. And I'm here to tell you, just fucking stop. Just stop. They're never going to understand you. They're not going to understand you. And honestly, most of them don't even want to anyway. That sounds really harsh. And, you know, I sound tough when I say that. And I don't fucking care because you actually need to hear me out with this. They are not bad people. It's not that they don't love you. A lot of them do really, really love you. It's that understanding your world requires them to step outside of theirs. And most people simply aren't willing to do that. They don't have the capacity for nuance. And a lot of them, you seem like you're doing something like you're in fucking a different language. It can make them feel stupid, and they're not stupid. They're just smarter at other things. But people don't like that feeling of uncomfortability. They're comfortable where they are. Your way of living challenges that comfort in every way. And rather than lean into the discomfort of understanding something foreign, it's easy to dismiss it, to question it, to make you feel like you're the weird one, to ostracize you in that way. And so we end up in this exhausting style. You know when I get really excited and then I talk too fast and then I can't get my words out because I'm like, because my brain's working faster than my mouth? Sorry if I do that a couple of times. So we end up in this exhausting cycle anyway where we keep trying to explain, we keep hoping that we just say it the right way, they finally get it. We adjust our language, we downplay our wins, we minimize our struggles, we can even fib or bend the truth about what it is that we're actually doing, all in the hopes of being understood by people who we're never going to understand in the first place. And it's fucking exhausting. It's exhausting. It's an exhausting task that we keep challenging ourselves with and giving ourselves. Think about the energy that you've spent on this, the conversations you've had over and over again, the frustration of feeling unfucking seen, the loneliness of being surrounded by people who love you but just don't get you. What if you just let it go? What if you stopped for 5 minutes, needing everybody to understand you, and started accepting that they just won't, and just that's okay? I have friends from all different walks of life that work in all sorts of different jobs, that are stay-at-home parents, that are doing all sorts of crazy things. And I love that about them. But sometimes if they don't get it, I don't really care. I just let that conversation go and we talk about something else. My good friends care. They ask questions. They want to know. They want to delve into it. The real ones will lean into that beautiful energy that you have and try to tap into that and try to share that with you and raise you up so you can raise them up so everybody's winning. You don't need everybody to get you. You just need to get you. You need to be solid in your own vision, your own choices, your own path. And the people who are meant to understand it, they will. They'll find you, or they'll already be in your life quietly cheering you on. The rest of them, you've got to release the need for their validation, because chasing understanding from people who aren't interested in giving it is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You'll just exhaust yourself and still feel like a fucking empty vessel. Save that energy. Redirect it into your business, your vision, your growth. Stop performing. Stop putting on this facade of something that you're not. Stop performing your journey for people who don't have tickets to the show. They're not your audience. Your clients and your customers are. The right people will understand you without you having to beg them to. And the wrong people, no amount of explaining. Wow, I'm on fire today with the jumbled words, guys. No amount of explaining is going to change them. Let them not get it. Let them think you're crazy, obsessed, too much, too ambitious, too whatever, and let them have their opinions, and you just keep building. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Stop focusing on things that aren't relevant to you. Heavy. I hope you feel okay and validated. I hope that's given you a golden ticket to just feel normal in these weird things that happen to us. And I'm going to switch gears a little bit here, because this part is actually really important to me. If you are listening here and you have a friend, a family member, a partner, whoever, someone in your life who's building a business, I want to talk directly for you or to you for a minute. I know it might seem like one little action doesn't matter, but anyone who is in business or has been in business before will know that it does. Like, who cares if you like the Instagram post? What difference does one purchase make? Why would signing up for their email list be a big deal? Let me tell you why it matters. Building a business is like screaming into a void 90% of the time. You're putting yourself out there over and over and over again, and you're showing up and you're doing things. And most of the time it feels like nobody's listening, especially in the early days of business. Your social media algorithm is a fucking mystery. The customers are slow to come. The traction feels impossible. And in those moments, every single little piece of support counts. And I mean it genuinely, it really, really counts. Not in a fluffy, nice to have way, and this is might be the thing that keeps them going way. It's just, it matters. It matters so much. And that small bit of support can be the biggest amount of momentum that can push somebody and just encourage them to keep fucking going. So I want to give you a bit of a practical list of actual tangible ways you can support someone building a business, even if you're not in their target market. 1, buy something, even if it's something small. I get it. Maybe their product or service isn't for you. Maybe it's outside your budget. But if there's anything, literally anything that you can purchase, do it. Even if it's a fucking $1 ebook, just do it. It creates momentum, as I just said. It's proof of concept. It's revenue that helps them keep the lights on. And more than that, it's a vote in confidence. It says, I believe in what you're doing enough to put my money where my mouth is. Seriously. I had people that didn't come to my business in terms of being a client when I was a salon owner. But they would come in and buy a product every now and again, or buy a towel, or buy just something from my business just to show their support. I am the first person when my friend opens a business. One of my girlfriends started an incredible handbag brand. I'm getting her on here soon. She hand makes them. I was her first ever purchase. I did not ask for a discount. I did not ask for anything. I went on and bought because I support her. And actually, they're fucking cool as fuck. And I use it all the time. Just go on and buy something. Just anything. Even if it's a $20 voucher that never gets used, just buy them something. Buy something from them. The second one, and this is honest to God the easiest one ever, is engage with their content online. This one is free. It takes about 2 seconds. Like their post, leave a comment, and not just an emoji, like a thoughtful comment. Share their stuff to your stories, tag them when it's relevant. The algorithm rewards engagement, which means your interaction literally helps more people to see their content. You have no idea how much of a difference that makes to somebody. The third one is leave them a review. If you've bought from them or you've used their service, take 5 minutes to leave them a Google review, a Facebook review, whatever platform they're on. Reviews build trust with potential customers. They are social proof. They're gold. And most people never think to do it unless they're asked, but be the friend who does it without being asked. Just do it. Support your mate. The fourth one is sign up to their mailing list. Again, it takes 30 seconds and costs you nothing except maybe 1 email a week in your inbox. For them, every subscriber is momentum, exactly the same as that tiny little purchase. It's momentum. It's proof that people want to hear from them. It's building an asset that belongs to them, not to Instagram or Facebook or to whoever else controls the algorithms. And if you feel up to this, and I love doing this one too, I sign up for my friends' emails and then I send a little voice message being like, hey, I love that email you said. I love the point that you said about blah, 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 blah. If it's like a blog style, or I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. You're releasing whatever. Sometimes it's just the warm and fuzzy. And that leads perfectly into my next one, which is just ask them how they're fucking going. This might sound simple, but honestly, sometimes we just need someone to check in. We just need a big fat hug, even if it's a virtual one. Not with advice, not with opinions, not with solutions on what we should be doing, just genuine curiosity and care. How's the business going? How are you going? Sometimes that is everything. And on that, probably following on from referrals and things too and reviews, is talk about your friends. Word of mouth is still the most powerful form of marketing. If someone mentions they're looking for a service that your friend provides, refer them. Hype your friend up. Be their unpaid marketing manager because you genuinely believe in what they're doing. The bottom line of this is, if your mate has gone into business and you're not buying from them, not engaging from them, not commenting on their content, not leaving reviews, not referring people, not even asking how they're doing, and then you show up to complain about your own stuff and expect them to drop everything, that's a one-way street, and that's kind of fucked up. But it's more common than you think. I'm not saying you have to bankrupt yourself supporting every friend with a side hustle. That ain't it at all. But I'm saying that small actions add up, and the absence of support is felt really, really, really deeply. So I think you can do a little bit more for your mates in biz. The next section I want to kind of talk about is like the sacrifice that nobody warns you about. So this one's probably a little bit more of a meaty section. The questions you need to ask yourself if you're on the journey or you're thinking about starting up. How the fuck do you think this will affect the important people and the important aspects of your life? I'm talking all of it. Your kids, your partner, your friendships, your living arrangements, your moods, your mental health, your physical health, your hobbies, your free time, your ability to just switch off and relax. My husband said it really well over Christmas time. And that was, I was feeling like an absolute bag of shit in January. I was like, fuck, I'm so burnt out. I've had such a big year. I've been traveling all over the place. I've just worked like the fucking Trojan. And he's like, yeah, but like I get to finish work and come home and just like turn off from work. He's like, you don't do that. You're always contacting your clients and you're always working, you're always doing something. And he's like, I love that you do that. But he's like, you don't switch off. That's just not how you operate. And it's funny when I kind of sat and thought about that I hadn't really kind of put that in perspective of like him being in an employment position. Yes, he still runs a business and he runs a team and he does those sorts of things. He still gets to turn off at the end of the day, and we just don't get to do that. And I don't think a lot of people who go into business really think about how big that commitment is. Business doesn't just stay in a neat little box. It bleeds into absolutely every aspect of our life. It becomes part of you in a way that's hard to explain until you're like fucking balls deep in it. And that means the people around you are going to really feel it too, especially if you're all of a sudden spending less time or committing to other things. Will this create tension in your relationship? Maybe. Will this mean missing some things with your kids? Possibly. Will it affect your friendships? Almost certainly. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because going in with your eyes open is just better than being blindsided. Knowing what to prepare for can help you to anticipate the challenges and you can plan for them. Maybe not feel so out of your depth. And you can have honest conversations with your partner about what this season is going to look like if you have a partner. And you can set boundaries and communicate your expectations from both sides of that fence. My husband knows and loves and appreciates everything that I do, and he loves that I'm passionate about what I do. And we also have a really great rhythm going with both of our careers, and I think that's really important. I have previously been married to and in relationships with people who just didn't get it, didn't support me, didn't back me, didn't try, and it's never going to work out. I also sometimes, and this could be wrong too, have dated people who are very entrepreneurial, and sometimes that is an amazing thing and sometimes it is not. Sometimes having two people that are exactly the same is toxic as fuck, and sometimes having two people that are on totally different ends of the spectrum is really toxic as well. So make sure that you pick your person well if you are going to pick one, and make sure that you're mitigating those conversations and navigating them together and communicating and compromising, and understanding each other and having nuance. You have to be willing to really look at this part of your business honestly, and not every consequence of building a business is positive. Some of it's really fucking hard. Some of it fucking hurts. And pretending otherwise is just setting yourself up for a harder fall. So what are you prepared to lose that you value? I think is a really important question that you need to ask yourself. And this is a big one because everything in life has a value and a price. And the price of building something significant is paid in sacrifice. Some people aren't willing to pay the price, and that's a legitimate choice, and that's cool. There's no shame in looking at what's required and saying, actually, that's not for me. The shame is pretending you want something while being unwilling to do what's required to get it. If you are willing, if you're prepared to sacrifice comfort, certainty, free time, maybe some relationships, maybe some version of who you used to be, then you need to make peace with that. Everything we do is a choice. Every single thing. This journey will break you free of people, places, and things that have been holding you back. And some of these things you'll be very glad to release, even if it doesn't feel like it when it's actually happening to you. Some of them will feel like grief. They'll feel like loss. They will be a loss. Both things can be true at the same time, that it's a positive and the negative. That's the paradox of business and relationships. Business in a way is like a sport, and not everyone's built for it. And I kind of want to leave you with that. It's not a hobby. It's not a cute side project. It might start as a hobby, but if you're taking it seriously, it's not going to end up a hobby. It's not something you do in your spare time while everything else stays perfectly balanced. It's hard. It's constant. It's the work-life blend. It requires training and discipline and willingness to get your ass kicked and get straight back up again. And it demands that you show up even when you don't feel like it. It tests you in ways that you've never expected, and not everybody is built for that. That is not an insult. That is the reality of business. Entrepreneurs and small business owners are a fucking different breed. We are wired differently. We see opportunity where others see risk. We get energy from challenges that would drain other people. We're fucking sickly, disgustingly obsessed in a way that can look unhealthy from the outside, but it's actually just how we're fucking built. It's how we're made. And a lot of people won't get us. They won't understand why we just can't switch off. They won't comprehend why we're willing to sacrifice so much for something that they don't get, or something that's even so uncertain. There's no guarantees, right? They won't see the vision until it's already built. That's cool. We're not doing this for other people's approval. We're doing this because we can't not do it. Because there's something inside of us that needs to just create, to build, to prove that we can. You can have it all, but all looks different than you might have imagined. You can have success, you can have freedom, you can have fulfillment, but you also have to lean in and sacrifice. Nothing worth having ever came easy. That sacrifice can be painful as fuck. It can cost you things you didn't expect to lose, but it can also break you free. So if you're in this game and in this sport, if you will, if you've made the choice to build something, I want you to know that I see you. I see the lonely nights, there's not sleeping at night, the fair weather, the doubt, the fear, the sacrifice, the loss, the gain. I see all of it. And I'm telling you, protect your fucking energy. The destination was never meant to be crowded, and not everybody was meant to come with you. And that's not a tragedy. That's the nature of the journey. And I want you to stop exhausting yourself trying to make everybody understand, because they won't. They don't want to, and that's fine. The ones that meant to be there, they will find you. Everybody else, wish them well and keep moving. I want to bring this home now. Okay, today we talked about the stuff that nobody tells you about building a business, the friendships, the loneliness of success, the price of evolution. We talked about why some people can't see what you see, and that's okay. Why you'll outgrow people, but not out of arrogance, because survival demands evolution. We talked about letting go of the exhausting task of trying to make everybody understand you, because they fucking won't. Just let it go, sis. Let it go. And we landed on this. Business is a sport. It's not for everybody, and the people who get it, they're your people. And everybody else is not your people. And not everyone's going to be your fucking people. You're not tequila. Stop trying to make everybody happy. So if this episode hit home for you, do me a favor. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, whether that's a fellow business owner who's feeling the loneliness, a friend who maybe needs a little nudge. Maybe it's a friend that needs a good big fat push off the end of the plank to go and launch into something that you know that they're built for. And hey, if you want to support this podcast, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, leave a review, leave me a comment. All those things really do create momentum, and I practice what I preach, and I'll see you in the next one.